What is up, everyone? JD here. Hope you're all doing well today. Got another big hand review for you. We're going to be looking at the Sencut San Angelo. So what I'll be doing today is going through knife specs, going through size comparisons for reference, giving you my thoughts and impressions, any alternative recommendations if I have them. Let's go ahead and jump into it. The Sencut San Angelo has a 3.48-inch 9CR 18 MOV blade steel. The Rockwell treatment is being advertised as 58 to 60, which is really good for this budget steel. 4.5-inch handles with G10 scales. Overall length 7.97 inches, a great size for EDC. Claimed weight on the San Angelo is 3.38 ounces. Let's go ahead and bring the scale out and verify the weight. Yep, coming in at 3.4. The claimed weight was 3.48 or 3.38, so 3.4 makes sense. What we'll do next is go ahead and get the size comparisons going so that you can get an idea of the size of this knife. So here is the Demco AD 20.5. As you can see, the San Angelo is actually a little bit bigger, and we'll bring out the Shaman. And you can see here it's actually pretty close to the size of a Shaman. So a much more fuller sized knife. Let me go ahead and move these two out of the way, and we will bring out the next two size comparison knives. First up is going to be the Benchmade Bug Out, which is going to be a little bit smaller than the San Angelo, and we will also bring out the SIG K320 by Hogue. This one's going to be a little bit closer to the size, but it's not quite as girthy as the Hogue is. So really interesting size comparisons so far, and hopefully this is helping anyone out that is looking at this video. Last but not least, we'll bring out some budget knives. First, we're going to bring out the Kubi Royal KU321 as I whiff on the reverse flick on that one. This is a sub 3-inch knife, and as you can see, the San Angelo is much bigger. And we will bring out the Buck 110, which has a very similarly curvy handle, but it's not quite as big. Let me go ahead and move the Buck out of the way, and we'll do some profile comparisons so you guys can get an idea just how thin or thick this knife is. We'll start with the Kubi Royal. As you can see here, relatively thin. It's very thin in comparison to the Royal. We'll bring the Demco back out here as well. Not quite as thin as the Demco, but pretty darn close. And we'll bring the Bug Out with the Flytanium scales out here. And you can see that's relatively close. Now let me go ahead and jump into my thoughts and impressions. Actually, really quickly, I haven't been doing this as much lately. It comes with a really nice pouch, very much like what a Civivi does. Comes with nice instructions, a beautiful blue marked Sencut microfiber cloth, and it does have the fuzzy padding on the inside, which I think is really nice. Comes wrapped in plastic, and then it comes in the Sencut box. So a really nice presentation. The G10 on here has good texturing. It is chamfered around the edges, but it also has milling across that, which I really like. It gives a really nice grip, and it fits in hand. It just falls into the hand in a great position. The jimping is a little far back for bigger hands. I would have liked for them to just go ahead and carry that out to about where my thumb stops. So probably right about there, just a little bit further out would have been really good, so that when you're going to use the tip or the furthest foremost front part of the blade, that's a lot of F's there, you have that jimping out there to help with the control instead of it being back here. It just makes more sense. Now, I also like the fact that this puts you in a handle position that feels like it's going to be super confident in grip. And then when you're choking up for those power cuts, the blade shape is going to actually help keep the material in the blade path. So that's going to be really nice for the cuts. Now, the satin does show fingerprints, but honestly, at this price point, I'm not too terribly worried about that. And I will say, the satiny hardware does make it look kind of cheap, even though these look like they're a little bit more of a premium bolt style, and it's probably shared with Civivis anyway to cut down costs. Liner lock has about 10 to 15% hookup. Hopefully that'll wear in. That's really early hookup, and I'm hoping that's just on my particular model. It is slightly knocked down so that you have good access to the liner lock, and it's very well jimped so you can comfortably disengage it just like so. Ceramic bearings in the pivot give it really nice action, and as you can tell there, they're actually the bronze washers that you find on all the Civivis. Now, one complaint here, and I'm not quite sure if the lockup is a precursor to this, but the detent is a little light on this one, meaning you can regularly and consistently fail it. It needs to be tightened up. It needs a little bit stronger of a detent. Having said that, if you push button, the detent is just strong enough to get that to fly out in combination with those ceramic bearings. So pretty good. I have to really, like, I'm using my thumb to control the action, and even then I failed to fail it. So it is harder to do. What I will do during the disassembly video for this particular model is I will also demonstrate how to tune that lock bar. The nice thing about this particular knife, it is a milled out or skeletonized steel liner. It has barrel spacers, but no lanyard barrel, which I think is appropriate. I think for this type of knife and the size of this knife, I have just a little bit of space left with a full 4-finger grip, so it fits comfortably in hand. And again, even though it is a little bit skinnier, the curvature on this makes it feel very comfortable in hand. The 9CR on this is really well done. It came with a pretty good edge from the factory. It sliced very well. It went through the cardboard nicely, and the tip on here is low enough that I can do the draw cuts and utility cuts without getting up too high. It's very, very reasonable. The best part about this knife is the fact that it is $45. That is phenomenal value, getting stainless steel 9CR kitchen grade steel on this blade. You're getting ceramic bearings, nice liner lock, very nice G10. It's not going to sand away at your pocket as it goes in and out of the pocket, but it offers very nice jimping and gripping. It is a reversible deep carry pocket clip. Not a fan of Civivi Sencut Wii pocket clips because they bring it to a narrow point. It feels pokey. If they would just keep it even, the consistency for the thickness throughout, it would relieve some of the pressure that lands right here on the hand. So it's just not my favorite when it comes to ergonomics. However, because it's so outlandishly tall on the billing here, it goes in and out of the pocket great. Even though it is not nested, it does have flat screws, so it has plenty of clearance, and this is super, super deep carry. You're talking about that much left, and that might even be covered up by some of the pants material, depending on how it goes into the pocket. A couple of different color options. So this is really a very recommendable knife if you're on a budget. If you're looking for something under $50, you want something that is going to be a comfortable in-hand experience, that is going to be a very thin and slicey, robust blade that still has plenty of strength throughout the geometry. This tall flat grind is going to just melt material. It still has a nice low enough tip on it so that you can do utility cuts, draw cuts. It is going to be comfortable if you're cutting straps, like if you want to get under a strap and pull it. The position that this puts it in is it angles it slightly back towards you, so you can pull through straps that you might be trying to cut materials loose from. You can push cut through cardboard very comfortably with this. It feels very nice in hand. And again, as a big hand user or a larger hand reviewer, this is very, very comfortable at this price point, and the quality is there. So I really do like this one a lot. Outside of this, I think the Sencut Saxi, which is a button lock, has slightly better ergos, around the same price, and slightly better material. So I think this is sub 50, this is below 45. So you do get a little bit of micarta, which is a little bit more premium looking material, and it feels a little bit nicer in hand. You're getting around the same cutting geometry. Actually, you're getting a little bit more on the San Angelo. So a little bit more cutting edge on the San Angelo. You're getting a little bit more of a thinner, slicier blade because of the taller flat grind on it. But this one here has a button lock, which does make it a little bit more fidgety, and you get thumb studs or a flipper tab for deployment. So that is a little bit nicer on the Saxi. So that would be my alternative recommendation, especially if you don't like the way that this looks. Now, I understand the look is subjective. Some people may like it, some people may not. But from a user, this is very, very, very comfortable. And if mine might be just that it doesn't have the detent properly tuned on mine. It could be that you get one that is properly tuned. This one needs to be strengthened up a little bit, so I will do a disassembly video. But for a user, an everyday user, something that is going to work really well for you, this is going to do really nicely at this price point. Again, if you're on a budget and you're trying to spend less than $50, this is a really nice recommendation. And I know it looks like it's not the best looking pocket knife ever, but I'm telling you, if you're just going to be using your knife constantly, you want something that's comfortable in hand, this is definitely going to be one to look at. And it's a stainless steel, which is really, really nice. That's my review. Recommendable knife, especially at this price point. Is very, very competitive in this price point. You know, you got QSP out there making great knives. You got Sencut making great knives for under $50 these days. Really, really competitive. Sativian has some, but they have D2 steel on most of their steel, which is not as good as the 9CR. And now you have CJRB, who has completely eliminated D2 from their lineup, and they're using their AR RPM 9, which is a stainless steel. So it's really getting competitive out there for under $50 if you're on a budget and can't afford something a little bit more higher end, closer to that $100 price point. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a favor, leave a like. If you're liking the content, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you follow along. If you're already subscribed, thanks for the continued support. I appreciate you. I hope all of you have a fantastic week, and until next time, peace.